Good day, everyone. Mark Warner here again today. And today I have a special guest, my cousin Ruthanne, who is such an inspiration to me. And we have just connected over the years so greatly. And she's been having some wonderful things happen in her life recently. And I just really wanted to have a good conversation with her and love for you all to meet her and hear her story. And we're going to talk today about our mission in life. And just looking forward to that conversation. So, Ruthanne, welcome.
Thanks. Thanks. This is so fun. I am Ruthanne Mast, and I'm just a Tennessee country girl. I love everything to do with farm and all that. You just saw the door open. So I am here in my own kitchen, and I just have a passion to reach people from my home. And through that, I am now an executive director for a skincare company called Lemongrass Spa, and never planned for it to be a business, but through the Lord, just answering a specific prayer I had, it has become just a beautiful, beautiful business. I remember just I do crocheting too. So really, I run two businesses out of my home. But I remember just sitting there and stitching because I am a vintage soul and I love keeping that art alive and just praying that the Lord would just bless me with a something. I don't know if I specifically pray for a business. I think I might have, but something that I could reach a lot more people, a lot more women that are like me at home or wherever they are. And he plopped Lemongrass Spa in my life, and it's been an amazing, eye-opening journey on that. I guess the number one thing is that you can't outgive God.
Yes, absolutely. And just talk a little bit about lemongrass. Recently, you were awarded or chosen to be Lemongrass Spa, the lady, I think, Lemongrass Spa Lady of the Year, I think is how it was pronounced. Can you just tell me a little bit about that and that award and what that meant to you?
Oh my stars! I didn't know you were going to ask me that question. You're going to get me all emotional. It's the highest honor that someone can get in this company. Heidi Least is the owner and founder of Lemongrass Spa, and she um, personally picks these leaders every year and awards them with this high honor. We are literally crowned on stage, and that experience, um, it was just such an answer to prayer. I went into this past conference with a lot of questions. Lord, am I where am I supposed to be? We had a lot of things going on, two children getting married, one going to college, and I felt like I wasn't able to be as faithful as I wanted to for my team and my business. And I was just praying, answer those questions. Am I exactly where I am supposed to be? And it wasn't that event that nailed it for me. It was the pinnacle of the conference, though. I felt it was just the Lord just saying, "You're exactly where you're supposed to be."
Yes,
and
that's awesome.
yes, and my three girls around me.
That's
So it's
awesome.
just
I seen the video of it and it was very emotional to watch actually. So it was great to see it. It's
yes,
so fun for me. I know my mission in life became much more clear to me earlier this year, which is to connect with, develop, and create opportunities for people. And a lot of times, uh, uh, connecting with, developing, creating opportunities isn't always fun, right? It's a lot of work, but it's so fun. And I really have been able to connect with you. I certainly have not developed you or created opportunities for you necessarily, but it's so rewarding to see people step in the gifting and the callings God has on their life. And it comes with reading, with praying, with seeking the Lord and really understanding the desires of our heart. The Lord created those and being able to bring those forward or pray those through, and then Him creating situations, opportunities that just really draw that out of us. It's so fun to see when it's not all about money, when it's not all about notoriety or fame, but often those are byproducts of us walking with the Lord and really developing the calling and the mission God has on our life. And we were talking earlier about there's kind of three phases in life you go through. You have the first phase, which people kind of pour into your life. The second phase of life, people usually exchange time, effort, and energy for money, finances, whatever opportunities. And then the third phase, they usually retire, and that's kind of it. I guess go fishing, whatever. And really trying to be intentional with that center phase of our life to develop value and knowledge in us, and then be able to give back at that last stage of life where we can mentor people. And not only that, be paid for our knowledge and value that we've built during that time. So it's not just, we're not just now old and gone. And really, we talked about it, and this was a conversation I had with some men the other day too. Really finding your mission in life is understanding the problem you specifically solve. God created you as a vessel. There's an example where we are a pot created at the hand of a potter, and we're made for something. We're given specific gifts, specific talents to develop, and we fill a need, we solve a problem. Your car solves a problem. Anything has value solves a problem. Gets you from point A to point B. Your body parts, your liver, your eyes, they all solve a problem. And anytime we buy something or acquire something, we want it because it solves a problem. And that is really where our value comes in. And you praying and asking the Lord, like, Lord, give me an ability to serve these people, that came from a desire and from something God has given you, and now is really working and showing out through using this lemongrass spa, being able to help ladies, encourage ladies, give them a hope and a future. You solve a problem for these people that really encourages them, helps them grow in the Lord, helps them uh, not be bored out of their minds after the children leave or whatever is the case. So just talk about, the mission that you really feel you're called to, and maybe that how that's played into what problem are you solving, and how do you feel that that ties into what you do.
Oh, this gets me so excited because for years I would walk through like Walmart skincare aisles with the beautiful gift sets during the holidays, Valentine's Day, or whatever, Mother's Day. And for some reason, um, I just hesitated buying these products because I knew they were full of junk. And so I didn't really know that there was a company out there that would align with all of my beliefs as far as clean products. But Heidi was in the works with creating this company that I'm now with. I started with one product, and I was like, sign me up. And I didn't think they would all line with my beliefs or my mission back then, but they did. And now, um, when I have a friend that's going through cancer. It's the battle of her life. And I can send these gift packs to her. And I know that every ingredient in there is for her healing. It's not going to tear down her already torn down body. Oh, anyway, that's just to scratch the surface. I was able to pour out to a very dear friend right after I joined and ease her journey. Human trafficking is a huge thing. And I have those human kindness kits that I can send out. Every time I purchase those human kindness kits, that our company donates to women's shelters and stuff like that. And I was able to send some over to Tanzania, which was so fun. And I'm hopefully sending a whole nother box over to Greece. And then our Freedom Feet kits is so it's all about giving back for me. It's all about finding those needs and just being able to fill it with, with what I do and not having to purchase from this company and purchase from this company and make up all of these bundles myself. I don't have that time. I have this beautiful company that has it all done for me. And Freedom Feet kits are huge too because the military is so dear to my heart. My grandfather served, and he was a Marine at the age of supposedly 17 or 18. I think he was a little bit younger, but so it's just all about giving back for me, and I don't have to worry about the ingredients. I know that doesn't mean a lot to some people, but it does to me, and God knew it did.
Hmm.
And they're
Absolutely.
And they're handcrafted here in the US, which is huge for me also
Yeah,
because I'm all about US products.
yeah, absolutely. Really interestingly, there we talked earlier today about while you do make money at this, there's a certain element of that, that the important aspect of your life and you're really passionate about is giving back to people, to mothers, to ladies, and military, in any case where there is a need and you want to fulfill that. Certainly, there's needs everywhere around us. I mean, there's needs literally everywhere. The unique thing about a mission in life that uh, solves a problem, it's almost always a giving. You can't number one, you can't outgive the Lord, but it's amazing when you focus on giving, using that mission to solve a problem for someone else, how problems get solved for us. And so we talked about the issue of making it all about the money. That's a real problem because you sacrifice values, you sacrifice so many things often when it's all about the money. Whether you're running a business like I do, or whether you're helping and in running a business, or anything you do, if it's about the money, you will always come up short and always sacrifice. Okay, maybe you make lots of it, but in other areas of your life, you're often going to come up short. But when you know what you're called to, and when you know the problem you solve, and you do that as unto the Lord, it's amazing. You don't come up short. You come up very long, actually. You come up with wins. And what better thing to do than give? There's a book by Joe Polish that I've been reading recently that life gives to the giver. And it's so important. It's a biblical principle throughout, and so important to focus on giving however we do that, whether it's helping people, whether it's giving of finances, whether it's coaching people, just loving people, there's so much way to give. And when you have a giver and another giver and they meet and they give to each other, what they can do is pretty much limitless. I mean, it's just absolute power there. And it's so wonderful. Tell me just, about your thoughts in the past about giving and how important that's been and why that's a passion to you.
Well, it's an addiction.
Yeah.
Uh, and I remember the very first time I spoke at leadership, very first time I spoke in public, I told Heidi, I said, "You've created an addict in wanting to give and share because when you start getting those messages in, um, oh, thank you so much for that birthday gift. Like it was more than anybody else gave me. And or I'll never forget getting a message at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night from a lady I'd never met, which I get a lot of that because I don't meet a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
But she said, I just came in the door from having chemo treatments today and I saw this package and I laid it out on the bed and I just cried. Thank you so much. And it was just like when you get messages like that,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I want more messages like that.
Yeah. So you and I also had a conversation back a while ago about kind of the empty nest syndrome, and I think this was something that was interesting to me, and I've seen it a lot. Um, and we have children that are growing up, and we're not quite to that stage yet. But I can see where that is an issue, and even something in my personal vision statement talked about having family and relationships and friends and things around me and developing who I am and being able to give back so we don't have that, hey, we're just now sitting at home, empty nesters. And I think that's something that's particularly near to your heart. You've talked about it before, now that your two children are married and one's going to college and probably one not far behind, how has this, what the mission God has called you to, helping this even lemongrass spa, feeding into that and being a lady yourself, and often, at least in our circles, it's has been more common for ladies to stay at home. How do you feel about that? What do you want to say around that subject?
Oh my goodness. Don't wait to start. reaching out and finding your purpose. Like years, it was, well, I say years, it feels like a lifetime. It's been a little over 6 years ago that I started Lemongrass Spa. And I remember feeling guilty in a way that I was pouring so much into it, but I was homeschooling the 4 children. And I felt, what better way to show them that we can reach the world through what we do at home, no matter what it is. And so I included the children in everything. I had pictures with them with holding up Freedom Feet kits, doing giveaways, and my children even sponsored Freedom Feet kits. It is so important, especially in my position, I think, to show them that it's not all about us. It's not all about, I'm hungry. It's not all about clean clothes. And one of my biggest fears, and it's so funny, but maybe it was given by God, is to all of a sudden find myself alone with nothing, with nobody. And I mean, like, Tim can go to work every day and he's got his cup filled with all his worker buddies, and stuff. And I'm just sitting here. And I was like, nope, that's not going to happen.
Yes, absolutely.
It definitely has not happened yet. I am busier than ever.
Yes. Can you just list, obviously, what makes us is often our struggles. That's really what thought of this concept and read a couple of books around it where there's one by T.D. Jakes. It's called The Crushing, where it talks about the vine initially being planted in, usually does better in terrible soil, and it makes it sweeter grapes or whatever. And then you put manure on it, of course, and then as it grows, everything gets trimmed, and finally 5 years later, it gets a little bit of fruit. Then you take it, you crush it, you strain it, you get everything else out of it. You then put it in jars. You let it ferment, and finally it gets stuck on some shelf for aging, and it gets used for one amazing sip by a king or a dignitary or just, I guess, a housewife or something. I don't know. But
Now I
the
see.
interesting thing that makes us, we can obviously get bitter, is a bitter concept we've always all talked about, but the challenges, the struggles, the battles, the mental battles make who we are. They really purify us, bring us out. I see people that have went through so much in their life and they come out so sweet. And I realized in my life that it's just not possible to become that without a lot of struggles, without a lot of crushing. And that really changes us if we allow the Lord to work in us. Talk about some of the struggles that you have had, maybe moving into this realm, for maybe other ladies or even other guys that are looking at this, but other ladies in this kind of conversation that are going, man, I don't want to be, an empty nester type of situation. What are the struggles, that the mental battles you had to overcome to get into that, and throughout what the mental battles are that they can prepare for, but not be afraid to do it, but prepare for it and move into it.
Yeah, I think one of the number one things is I don't have anything to offer. I don't have the perfect. Us women look at ourselves, and especially me. I'm selling skincare, and so I'm like, well, yep, I have wrinkles. I am, I have a little bit of extra cushion, and it's just you just get in your own head too much. And I'm going to tell you one thing that has really helped me is I adore, there's these several older women and older men that I absolutely love. And are they beautiful in their physical appearance? Not necessarily, but what makes them beautiful is their smile and how they give and pay attention to you. And they make you feel like the most special person in the world. So I think that's very important, as just make somebody feel important,
Yeah.
whether it's your child or your friend. Just make somebody feel important.
hmm And so
And
talking about the struggle aspect uh, of that, you had mentioned that you're in skincare, but maybe you have wrinkly skin or something. Has the struggle been kind of a imposter, or like explain that a little bit maybe. What has really that struggle been? What was the struggle first getting into it, I guess?
Well, I didn't struggle a whole lot when I first got into it because I gave everything away. So it was like nobody could accuse me of being greedy.
Okay, okay, got it.
But then as I became a leader, being asked to speak or having a team, and a team is asking me what can I do, how do I do this and stuff like that. Well, it just, I don't know, I let the voices of the I don't want to reveal too much on here. But the people that you care about the most can hurt you the most. And I had to just let those negative voices go. That God did create me for something special. He did create me to fill this need.
Hmm.
I don't care if I was, you know, when we went to the church school, I was not the favorite child. I was not teacher's pet. I did not make good grades. And so I just kind of grew up with that. I'm always a failure. I'm not good enough. And I had to get past that and not be selfish and let my light shine,
Hmm.
that I can find a need and fill it. Because if you hide it under a bushel, you're being selfish.
That is so true. When you have a gift and a talent, we talk about this in the biblical principle about the talents. When you've been given a gift and a talent, the opportunity is there is to bury it, but it is a very selfish opportunity. It is required of us to develop that and build that up and really multiply it and put it to use, and not just let it be hidden. That is
Yeah.
so important, and it's such a pride issue, and a perfectionist issue to hide that, and
Mhm.
we can't do that. We're That's not, God didn't call us to be perfect, He called us to do. He called us to put into use the gifts and talents He's given us, and
Yeah. Just go and massively fail.
yeah. Yes.
be be perfectly imperfect.
Yes.
I guarantee everyone has their own story of pain and hurt,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
We're not unique in that way.
Sorry.
Not unique in that at all. Not, absolutely not.
hide if you hide what God has given you to share, and I don't care what it is, if it's your time or just a sweet note or a call or whatever, a meal, whatever, if you hide that, you're actually stealing from somebody else.
Mhm. Yep.
You don't want to do that,
Well,
you
you're
know.
really stealing from yourself, because there's always a blessing on the other side of that.
And it's addicting.
You know, the interesting thing about it is there's a Bible verse, and I, for some reason, I know the Bible and I've read pretty much all of it, but I never remember where anything stands in the Bible. It's like, I don't know why, it just doesn't seem important to me, but it talks about, if you give, it will be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It doesn't say, if you give, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, it will be given back to you the same. It says, if you give, it will be given back to you in the measure you meet, or more. And so it's important to really give of your time and ear, whatever is that need that you fill, give of it fully, because God gave it to you to pour out fully. And that's so good. It is so selfish not to. And when you get self-absorbed, you really start to get depressed. You really start to go down a spiral you don't want to go down, because when you look at yourself, you realize the failures and the mistakes. But when you look outwardly and say, Lord, what did you create me for? And you just start giving on that, so many times the Lord uses that to overcome failures and mistakes and cover them and hide them and smooth them out over time. And what you focus on, you become more of anyway. So if you focus on those failures, they just seem to compound and spiral out of control.
Yeah, you hit something really, really on the head, and this might need to be a two-part session.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, I have struggled, and I don't struggle as much as I used to, but I have struggled with depression,
Mhm.
like terrible. And every time I would start feeling depression and get in within myself, I would just, okay, There's a need somewhere, I can feel it. And that is the fastest healer snap out of that depression
Mhm.
that there is. I heard this story of this woman that was going to end her life. She went to her pastor and said, I'm going to go end my life. I'm not of any good here. He's like, okay, well, before you do that, go bake a cake for so and so. And it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, just before you kill yourself, yeah.
And so she went and baked a cake for this person. And believe it or not, that snapped her out of it.
Yes,
And she started her ministry.
yes,
It's just is that is to me that's the quickest cure to that dark hole
yes,
is to look up and look around and find a need and fill it.
absolutely. Oh, that is so true. It's so easy to get stuck in our own worlds and make it all about us when that was never the intent. That's what the Lord designed us for. When we feed each other, when we take care of each other, our lives become so full. It's it's emotionally overwhelming at times. It really is, and it's so rewarding. And just to step back on, as you're growing and doing things, I've noticed the people closest to you, family, friends, people you've known especially for a long time, and they've seen all your faults and failures and shortcomings and depressions and anything else you can imagine about yourself. They are usually the least likely to encourage you and stand behind you, and that's not entirely their fault. It's kind of a natural thing. I think we even do it, I think I even do it in some cases, and people that don't know you are pretty quick to jump behind you, like, "Oh, this is awesome, you're doing such a great job," and get behind you on that. But I think if you're consistent and push through that uncomfortableness of the disbelief or yeah, that's just Mark or that's just Ruthanne, and you push through that, eventually they see the benefit and reward of it, and it actually starts to encourage them to also do stuff and to really develop that. So we owe that uncomfortableness to the people around us that maybe don't believe in us, that don't see what we're seeing, that quite honestly, we don't even need to compare that because God has called us to a specific mission. And we get to fulfill that despite the down looks, despite the disbeliefs, despite the conversations behind our backs. It's okay. It's okay. It's not. I'm not on the same journey you are, and eventually you'll see that because if I'm true to what the Lord has required of me, you're totally going to see that.
Oh, I tell you, that is and it's such freedom.
It
Oh
is
my goodness, such freedom. And I don't know if it's just everything that happened at conference back in July, but I have just come into a spot of such absolute freedom. And in turn, I have more support from those that I didn't think I'd ever have support from.
absolutely,
And I'm going on 7 years in this. And I was telling a team member the other day, I said, you just keep on staying faithful with what God has called you to, whether they come on board or not.
absolutely.
It doesn't matter, but I think eventually some of them will come on board
Oh yeah.
because you've been faithful. It's not just a fad.
Hmm.
This is something that
Yep.
you're faithful with.
Yep. And it's such a, when you look at people that are faithful, it really encourages you. And I love to look into people's lives and challenges and what they overcame, because it really encourages me to be faithful, because I am so thankful for their faithfulness having pushed through. It creates such hope in humanity around us, and even the Lord said, "Hey, when I come back, will I find faith on the earth?" He's looking for faithful people, not perfect, faithful that trust him, that believe in him, that are confident, sometimes roughly confident, but continue to move forward and do what we know the next step. We sometimes look at a mountain and we see, oh, that's where we want to be. We want to achieve, we want to overcome. And it can be so overwhelming, and you look back down, you go, "Oh, I can see this one other step." And then you keep looking back for reference. You slowly keep climbing, you slowly keep finding that mission, that direction. The path moves a little bit. You can't see the whole thing of it, but you allow the Lord to work on your life. You look back down, you focus on the next thing you can do, and just keep moving forward and continue being faithful. And you're going to slip, you're going to break your leg, you're going to knock a knee out, you're going to scratch stuff up, you're going to be exhausted, you're going to wish sometimes you weren't on it, but we don't give up because of that. We keep moving forward.
And if you have that initial um, assurance that this is what the Lord gave me to do, that is power.
It is.
The Lord gave me a verse one night. I was crying in bed. I had already jumped in with Lemongrass Spa just for the discount, mind you, not business. But then I started promoting and all that. And it was, whether I was doing the right thing was called into question. And I remember just laying in bed late at night, just, Lord, is am I, where I'm supposed to be? I call me and myself, I am God's high maintenance child. He
Yeah,
has to tell me 100 times a day, yes, you are where you're supposed to be.
I'm pretty high maintenance sometimes.
I think that's the book, his high
Yes,
maintenance child. But he just gave me this verse. He's like, don't worry, I'll take you up by my right hand. I've got this,
yes.
And I was just like, okay, okay. And that verse has appeared on my verse of the day at some of my lowest points when it was not the verse of the day.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so I said, I am high maintenance, but the Lord knows. I mean, it has just over and over. He has proven that I'm
Mhm.
exactly where I'm supposed to be. So if you have that assurance, that is power in it of itself. It doesn't matter what other people think.
Not at all.
You walk in faith.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Going forward in your life, just a couple of things that you're kind of looking forward to as you continue this journey. What are some things you're looking forward to in the next year? Some things you've got coming up, or uh, just things you're hoping to accomplish?
Oh, I actually, I don't know if you do much with AI, but
A
my
little bit.
vision board, I'm working on a vision board and it is so complicated and so huge that I think I'm going to let AI.
All right.
But my short-term goal, I guess, is to just be able to give way more than I'm giving right now and spend more time outside with my youngest. I love being in the barn, and that is what I really want to do. My more mission minded long term goal is to have retreats for those that need it. And through horses, therapy, riding, whatever, because I know the Lord has brought them into my life for a reason. And my crochet business, all that, passing the art along. I just, this past weekend, had a very sweet friend from um, a couple of states over. She came and spent the weekend with me and just sat on my front porch and just said, I feel so close to God here. And I want to give that experience more than ever, just from the farm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's just a little bit of what.
Yes. So quick note on AI. Um, I would recommend just to anybody and to you, take the time to think it through and write it out. If you want AI to clean it up, that's one thing. But I also did that. I went through and really wrote it down clearly. I did actually have Chat GPT clean it up for me. But when I read it, it very much came out of my heart, and very much I feel led by the Lord. And it started with faith and ended with legacy and everything in between, of how I can give back and how I can help people in the future and people around me, and really develop that gift of connecting with, developing, and creating opportunities for people and myself, developing myself, and all those kinds of things. But really knowing it's my mission in life is really taking my focus off of money and what people think about me, just knowing that that's my gifting to do. Part of that is why I'm doing these YouTube videos, is to start talking, right? You've got to start somewhere, and it's a new thing for me, but it's a challenging thing. You have to overcome your fears of saying, uh, certain things too many times or saying ums too much or whatever. But you just have to overcome it and go for it, and you'll get better over time. And that's really the beauty of developing a gift is that it takes a little time to develop, but you can add value to it and you can grow it, and it's so wonderful. Uh, just going for it, not letting things hold you back, or I know people watch these and they're like, oh man, like Mark, really? Talking on a YouTube video. What does he know, right? And but I don't have to compare that. I don't have to care about that because I know this is something God laid on my heart, and it's so freeing to do and just have a good conversation, say what's on my mind, whether it comes out right or wrong. That is the important part of developing that gift is just do it. Don't be
I
afraid of it. Just do it.
Yeah, and I appreciate you encouraging me in this. I honestly, when you offered to start monthly calls, I'm like, how in the world do you have time for little old me, but I really, really appreciate it. And one thing I remember about you from earliest memories is, well, I don't really care.
That was my comment. Yeah, I don't really care.
And this, I can tell you truly don't care about what others think. You are staying true to what God has called you to do. And that has been such an inspiration. You do care very deeply about what God has given you to care about.
Yeah.
And it's just such an encouragement. It's so exciting. I love seeing the confidence, and it actually has really helped me, whether you know it or not.
Well, thank you. Certainly, with internally, I probably care more than I show sometimes externally. But that is the selfish factor. Getting rid of that. Uh, that even if I touch one person, if I encourage one person, I connect with one person, I'm able to develop one person, I'm able to create an opportunity for one person. That's really all I'm required to do. I'm not really even required to track or keep or take care of the results of that. That's really God's problem. It's really my problem to be faithful and to step into the new things that God is calling me to do, whether that's buying another business, whether that's having a YouTube channel, whether that's going golfing with someone, whatever that is my responsibility. The results, those are up to God. And it's so much freedom when you don't work for money, when you don't or certainly don't prioritize money. Sometimes we have to pay our bills, of course, but when we don't prioritize money and we don't prioritize how we look, we prioritize the things God has called us to and the mission and the problem he has given us to solve, and we do that faithfully, continually, as imperfect as it is. The results are up to God, and they can be crazy awesome, and most of the time are. There can be challenges to overcome, but they're all for us. I know you've been reading this book recently, and I've read it also. A personality isn't permanent, and just a reminder in there was everything happens for us, not to us. And so sometimes the things that happen for us really also help us point into our calling. They challenge us in a certain way. They develop a certain piece that really develops that calling and creates that pot a better form to be able to solve a problem that God had created us for. So,
That has been powerful. Like, just, taking painful memories from the past that I don't really want to think about, because then I question everything I do.
yeah,
And instead, oh my word, that happened for me.
yeah. And just a quick story about you, Ruthanne. I remember growing up, we used to come to Tennessee because we live in Michigan, obviously. And we used to come down there for some camp meetings and stuff you guys had. And I just remember probably one of my earliest memories of you, uh, I don't think was as as good, and probably kind of similar to me. Like you had this young kind of arrogance, and I remember standing on a bale of hay, and you're riding your horse around trying to whip me with. That's my memory of it, and I was like, "Wow, this girl's a jerk." But anyway, over the years, we have just really grown in friendship, and more so even recently. And I'm just so thankful for that. And this is a prime example of how our past, often we judge people on our past. But what we have to remember is we're not done. We're not done until we're dead, right? And so looking at people from a perspective of they're not done, and that's okay. I am for this ride. I am along for this. Caring about that for
Mhm.
people and people we interact with, that's so important. When we feel like giving up on them, when we feel like this thing isn't worth giving to anymore, just remember it's not done. It's still a work in progress, and the Lord, they're still alive. We're still alive, and we have a lot to develop and learn. And I'm just so thankful for that friendship and relationship we've been able to build.
Yeah, I
Um,
tell you, it's humbling to, I want people to forgive me and I want people to be kind to me. So in that, I have to forgive in turn, you know, and I, it is a challenge because I do have team members that fall off and then rejoin. Yeah, I'm all, okay. And to treat them with the same enthusiasm every single time,
yes,
you got this, and stuff is that's the way I want people to treat me.
and we want the Lord to treat us that way too, because we fall off sometimes. That's so true.
That's for
Lord,
sure.
oh, I'm back.
Yep, I got this. I got this.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Well, Ruthanne, it's been such a great conversation with you, and look forward to having more of these in the future. Any parting thoughts before we go? Anything you want to leave
Yeah,
people with?
yeah. Why don't you come back down here and stand on that bale of hay, and I'm gonna
Yeah. Yeah, and I just won't care.
right.
Great.
We'll probably be laughing too hard on that one. Um, just one of my team name is Team Wave Walker because as long as you keep your eyes on the Lord, you can walk on water.
Yes.
And I had this necklace. It's a necklace of a wave that Lila got me after
Oh.
I was crowned. And finding that mission and that mission statement is so powerful.
Mhm.
And then our verse is cast your bread upon the waters and it
Yes.
will return after many days. God didn't say it'll, 3 days, 6 days, whatever. It says many days. You just keep on throwing that bread out. And like I tell my team, whether it's French baguettes or now sourdough is like gold. Throwing it out.
Yeah, that's right. That is so true. You can't outgive God.
Nope.
He's poured so much into us, and it'll always, always come back. And it often comes back in a way of economy, money, opportunities, but it always comes back. Whether it's an encouragement because you were encouraged, it will not return void. It won't return void, and that's so wonderful.
Yeah. It's so
Well, good.
comforting.
Have a great day, and it was lovely talking to you, and looking forward to more in the future.
Yep.
Yep. Well, thank you
Thank
everybody for listening today, and make it an exquisite day.